Are you unsure which soft plastic minnow to buy when you're going to go out and fish with the jig head minnow, guys? Right here, I have over 23 packages of minnows on my deck, and we're about to go in depth on which one to pick and why, guys. And for mainly, so you don't go out and buy too many of them so they don't get used, like I have here. Okay, guys, but welcome to the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. Jimmy Eastring, I go by Coach E, and guys, I've been fishing the jig head minnow a lot in the last 2.5, 3 years. My guide business, which is my on-the-water lesson business, my main part of it is teaching people how to catch bass offshore and with the forward-facing sonar from beginning anglers to advanced. And with this, the jig head minnow's a player. It's on my deck 99% of the year. And guys, I've tested a bunch of different soft plastics, and I'm continuing to do that. But this video, I want to go through my successes and failures of just the minnows. We're not going to go in depth on jig heads, rods. I've done other jig head minnow videos out there. Leave me a comment right now if you want me to do just a jig head size video of the different sizes, the hooks. Thinking about doing one of those, but I had somebody ask me to do this video right here to just talk about the soft plastics, the fluke, or the minnow as it's called. I say fluke because that's what we kind of started off doing, guys. But let's get into it. And I'm going to get into the juice right away. The hardest minnow to get right now, the depth Sakamata shad. Hardest one to get, okay? There are people that are buying these by the thousands, and I mean dollars. They're spending by the dollars because it's a really, really good minnow. So what this one is, and they're different. That's we're going to get into it. They're different. But even before I get into this, guys, okay, is your lakes, as I've learned on my lakes. I'm located in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I got Ouachita, DeGray, Hamilton, and I go to other places too. I'll travel. But there are lakes that they like one over the other, a particular size, the action, and like I have a lake where they love these wing style minnows, like this Sakamata shad right here, and I got a big one right here, which is popular on certain lakes as we'll get into. But then there are lakes where they like more of the square or more fluke style right here, like this freeloader. And the wings, this is a wing fluke, which is a copy of the Sakamata shad, but the wings and then the square, it does give different action, and there are just times where fish might want one of the over the other. And so your lake, you might pinpoint and then want to have confidence on which one you're throwing. As I've kind of got confidence and I've been testing them, I kind of got confidence in certain ones. But like this one right here, it is bad to the bone. It just is what it is. They're hard to get. You see them. They've been thrown for a couple years, but now we know about them, and they're just hard to get. And like I know the TVA, they love them. Other areas they do too, but these are hard to get. So the depth Sakamata shad, they come in a couple sizes. Like I have, look, a 7-inch package. Okay, got the 4. I'll talk about different sizes too. Like these little 4-inchers, dude. If you guys have some 4s and aren't throwing them, send me a message to my Jimmy Eastring Fishing Facebook page. I'll Venmo or Cash App you some because I love these baby ones. Okay, love them. All right, I'll buy some big ones off of you too. I'm not gonna lie, I will buy the big ones off of you as I got some here. So this is a wing style minnow. Wing style minnow. It's a very nice plastic, and it strolls more in the water. And you can fish at the old deep on the heavy jig heads as well. But this is more that strolling action. And then going to the next one that I have a lot of success with, and it's very popular. It's probably the #1 selling plastic last year. Is the Rapala Crush City Freeloader. Now, one thing I'm happy about with the Freeloader, or excuse me, Rapala Crush City, that's customs, is that they have different sizes coming out now. They have different sizes of the freeloader. I'm like fired up about that because I have a lake where like they love this. I can catch them on this year round. As I said earlier, guys, you are going to learn what lakes, your lakes, what minnows they like. I have a lake, they love this. Okay, I got a lot here to talk about. Here's one new one that I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't know much about roofs, but let me tell you guys about Saco Roofing Company. If you're like me and you know much about roofs, you want to go with somebody you trust because that roof is a very, very important part of your house. As it's going to withstand the leaks, the holes, anything else. It's something you don't know it's important until it is, guys. So if you're there with with roof damage or you're not sure about it, you want to get an inspection and get the honest opinion, guys, give Saco Roofing Company a call. Thank you for being a part of the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. Excited about is the strobe shaker. I remember on a trip, and one of my guys, my guy that's watching this is going to watch this. He's going to remember the trip. Did an on-the-water lesson with an angler that's advanced, really good at fishing, and he just wanted to get better targeting fish offshore using the forward-facing, and he's caught fish with it. As I got a lot of guys like this that are fish a lot, they want to get better with it, and they know that's all I do. Like, that's it, guys. That's all I do is catch fish with that thing. So it was a weird day, and this happens. and we're trying to do this. And sometimes there's like days you kind of like, I kind of feel like I have to like make it happen, and we like they always don't want to use this thing, definitely when the water's warm. But he pulled this out, put it on, and all of a sudden there's a light switch. And since then, I've used it and caught fish with it on different lakes, different occasions. It's about 6 cents. It's more of that kind of normal style minnow. It's not straight up like a square or rectangle like the freeloader, but it has this little deal on the top. And they kind of took an idea, I think, from another company. But you can reel it, and it'll kind of go in the water, or you can shake it. It's just a little different action, different size of the strobe shakers. Quick about this one, because they copied one, and we just already talked about it. But we got the wing fluke. At first, I was not a fan of the wing fluke. I did not think it did as good enough job as a Sakamata shad, but that was in my head. Really, it was. And one thing about in my head, and for you guys, is when they are really eating this, they're going to eat any of these. But the days that are more tough, the days where you got to figure out the color or the jig head size, which can go to water clarity, how the fish are acting, there's so many things in it. But for me at first when I was throwing this, I was like, dude, this ain't it. This is not the Sakamata shad. And it was a mental thing. But guys, when you look at tournaments, and look at some of the old tournaments, where this was really a player before people started doing it, guys, when it seemed like the top 10 had 7 jig head minnows in the top 10 by different anglers, they all had different ones. And so, and I think when they're really eating it, it might not matter. But when it's really tough, and there are times where like, yeah, the size matters. What I'm getting to is wing fluke catches them. Now I have a lake. They love the wing fluke. Love this guy. And this small one, this 5-inch size, and then over here, I got one on right now. I've made a video on it. The bigger one. Like, I'm throwing the bigger one right now. Okay, and I have it on a strut head. Like I said, if y'all want me a video just on the heads, I will, which I got a good jig head minnow video out there, but this guy catches them. Okay, this big wing fluke catches them. It's not the Sakamata shad, though. It's not. They're a little different. With plastics, you can see the action in the water. Now, guys, I'm gonna have my rods down there. I love the level rods. The NGX and the Rake are the 2 series that I throw. 7.1 medium light, 7.4 medium light fast. I love that 7.4 right now. I have that big one on a 7-foot medium. I'm going to try to start playing with it on different sizes as well, but I'll put all that down there. But guys, the wing fluke, it does a good job. But like I said, first it was a middle block, and that's what might be with you guys sometimes. Okay, so another one here, which is the Bass Tricks. Bass Tricks is back in the game. And I had to stop there. I had someone call, but then I was looking for one of my other Bass Trick lures. It's down here on the boat. I got a compartment in my icon here. That's my day box. And I got some Duratrixes. I got the little, right here, Hover Tricks. Okay, so we're going to talk about that Hover Tricks next. So this Duratrix, though, is more of a normal fluke style. Okay, it's kind of that square. This is a big minnow. I like this guy, okay? I do like this guy. It's a bigger minnow that I've tested. Like I said, for me, it's just like that wing fluke's caught him more, but I think that's just because of the time of year. But I really think from what I've learned in colder temps, this more square body style, for me and my lakes with the smaller ones, done a pretty good job. For example, we have a Z2, okay? But then where's my one? The baby Z2. The baby Z2 is a catching fool. It just catches them. Okay, on my lakes, they love it. And it's like I said, it's a smaller. You can kind of see it there in the package. Actually, you guys can't. But it's a little smaller. It's Lastech material. And now this is a Strike King version, but you also have Z-Man and all that. And as you can tell, like this one, that's the only thing I don't like about the Z2 is like it's been in a little bag, and it kind of, as it gets hot and everything, it kind of melts and it don't work great, or it kind of gets all crooked. And that's my negative with the Lastech material. And I wish it was in a clamshell. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm making my video, I just wish these were, because these aren't expensive, but like I said, this already comes out. So that's one thing you got to make sure, guys, is your things. I don't know if y'all can tell how it is, but it's just crooked. And it's been sitting in my little bag, and it's been hot outside. But guys, going to the winter, these catch fish in the winter, fall to winter. This little dude, for some reason. And so I'm going to try this guy out more in the fall. I just, got these in the spring right here. But like I said, I've caught some fish with them. It seems like I like those other ones right there a little better. But this is part of my big minnow arsenal, okay? But like I said, kind of going to this, the Z2, the baby Z2, and then your normal Z2. These rock, and when you're shaking that thing, they're rocking. They're rocking fast and erratic compared to where those wings, they kind of stroll, kind of do more, rolling over. It's just different action, and you're going to have to find out from your experience on your lakes, what action do they like. I should have said this earlier. You can catch fish without forward-facing sonar on these two guys, or if you're throwing a crankbait, a jig, depending on your cover. I know it's an open hook. If it's a flat area where there's some rock or some brush, You can throw this without forward-facing sonar and catch them. I wish I would have done it before. I just really didn't. I just threw a swim bait and swam it, baby. That I've kind of became a fan of is this hover tricks. Okay. So here's the hover tricks. Let's pull. Okay, now it looks pretty like a minnow, and I like this that see-through. You can't really tell, but and it's real slippery right there. But it is okay, straight, and it rocks. It rocks, and this one has a little bit different, slower rock. Since it's not square as a rectangle, it kind of don't rock as fast as those. But this is another one right there. Which color is this called? This one, the albino shad. Albino shad. So Bass Tricks and Core Tackle kind of partnered up. This is a collaboration, and guys, you know Bass Tricks had made a scene in the 2000s with the swim baits, and now they're coming back. They're doing a really good job there with their baits. Now let's keep on going. Let's keep looking. Here you go. Here's one that just never really happened to me. Now this is a little smaller company. Okay, what's it called? Ignite Baits, custom hand poured, as it says. But here, it's like a freeloader with the wings. If you can see, guys, freeloader with the wings on there. This made a big hit. Think they sold a lot. I've not caught as many fish with them. Okay, it seemed like your wing baits, which I got a couple down here, need to be more. I mean, it's kind of like the wing fluke kind of went square with it too. But it seems like they need to be more of like this shape of the Sakamoto shad. Might be some guys that have hammered them with it. It's not the same plastic though as the Crush City right here, but it is pretty interesting. So I didn't throw it much, but when I did, I just didn't catch fish with it, and then once again, it became a minnow deal. Sometimes it's just minnow, and it just might be that day they want a jig or a worm and not the jig head minnow. Okay, another one that's more different style. Now I keep these around for when they get when my fish are targeting small bait, like that baby Z2 is one action. I got some other ones here, but this right here is a V&M vertical shad. Okay, the vertical shad. So as it's real skinny, as you can tell, and it is little. So just one of those little deals to where like I have a couple of these from they're targeting small bait, and I'm trying to get them to eat this. Now once again, if I had to pick between two, pick at the baby Z2. And by the end of the video, I'm going to share, if I just had to pick a couple, which one I'm going to go with, okay? And this is just to help you guys out. I want to hear y'all's comments. Once again, leave me a comment down below. Comment. What's y'all's favorite minnow, if you want me to know. Let's talk about some other ones. Here's another small one. This is in the Finesse series with X Zone, okay? Very small guy. I'm actually going to be throwing these this weekend late because they've eaten some small bait, and I'm trying to make it happen. Let's kind of go through here. Here you go. That's a bigger Z2. Here's the Z-Man setup. What do they call it? The jerk shad? Yes, a jerk shad. Bigger Z2. This is for those big minnows, and this is kind of another big minnow kind of arsenal deal. The difference between the Duratrex there is just that. The normal fluke. This is one of the first ones we did. It's just a normal fluke, and some people still just throw a normal fluke. As you can tell, this is a smaller one. It's white, has that rectangular square feature, so it is going to rock, you know, pretty erratic. But then one that like, okay, now this one here, yeah, and this is Becker's. I'm about to say this is Matt Becker's when he could use his forward-facing sonar for 3 periods. You know, things change in MLF if you're still watching this, and they took it away. But Becker, man, was crushing him on a minnow, and this is his and Becker's grape shad. This is the scope shad, okay? And I'm going to tell y'all my truth. The scope shad's not been near as good to me as it has to Matt Becker, okay? And I like Matt. He's one of the guys I'm rooting for. I got to meet him a couple years ago, and he's a good dude. Like, I love watching his YouTube channel. He's really good at teaching, gives out good juice. But he catches a lot more on this than I have. And it's, you know, and I said, look at it compared to that fluke, it's more of a round shape, and where that was more that square. But I just really think it comes down to the lakes. And my lakes, they just for some reason didn't like this rolling action of it. Or someone in Hot Springs is like, Jimmy, you just can't catch fish with it. Maybe that's the case because I catch a lot in the bay on my other guys here. But so anyway, like this is one. And I had a couple days with it. Lake Hamilton, there was a day I went through a whole package. And then after that, it just seemed like I didn't do as well. Yamamoto came out with some new minnows recently. I can't wait to get my hands on them. Cannot wait to get my hands on them. When you got Matt Becker and Jake Lawrence together working on minnows, it's dangerous. But I really think that up in that Kentucky region, they just might like this better, or I just wasn't shaking my rod right. My guys that are fishing with me kind of know which ones I throw. I have 3 bags right here that when I get in your boat for a lesson with the minnow, offshore fishing, whatever we're doing, I got 3 bags typically of minnows. And you kind of know what I throw, and I always test them because I speak the truth. I mean, I'm like, hey, I'm testing this one. I'm going to tell you one, guys, that I have not had success with, and I haven't thrown it in a year and a half maybe. But it's this guy, Juggle Minnow. This one, Ben Milliken throws and catches fish with. He does his stuff with it. There's other guys, not me. Not me. I'm going to put this thing back over there to the side where, and it kind of goes to where like 6 Cents made some more minnows, and it kind of was like, if you're making more minnows, which we got to keep innovating and keep creating, right? But like if you're making more minnows, maybe that's not as good, but that don't catch fish for me. But hey, I have a good friend of mine that wears them out on a lake in Arkansas, but not me. Just not me. Maybe it's a minnow thing. Goes back to the minnow game, okay? Minnow game. And one of y'all's gonna be like, oh, you're terrible at throwing the minnow. Yeah, you're right, sure. Okay, hey, here's some popular ones. We got the big bite baits, okay? And there's a scented version and a non-scented version, okay? This is what they call it, the slim minnow. Slim minnow just wasn't as good to me, okay? And Drew Gill says he throws it and catches them with it, and he does. Ooh, I hadn't talked about this one yet. I got two here I hadn't talked about. The fish roller. This dude catches them. It's going to be honest. The fish roller. Now, if you have fished with me lately, I might not even throw these. This is one of those deals that I just don't throw. There's a couple of things I don't throw, and that's kind of because these are a little high and they're hard to find. This was one that, like, I hate that I missed on sooner, because, like, Alton Jones Jr. talked about it. There were some people that talked about it. I'm just like, oh, a fish roller, okay, and I saw the price, and I just said, But these catch fish. So as you see, now this is one of their higher dollar ones. It's more, I forgot the color. It's like $15 for like 4 of these. It's like, it's just, Anyway, I like the plastic, and you can kind of tell like how the freeloader sits, like you kind of tell like that the freeloader sits a little more when you move like this does. Like this just, it's a different action. And I remember a trip when I was at Table Rock Lake this last spring. I filmed a bunch of content there. There was a day where they started off that day eating a wing fluke. I figured out the weight, head, the size. They quit eating that. Then they wanted this, and it was crazy. All my buddies were there. It was a tough day. We caught some fish out of all of us, but it was tough. But when I went to that fish roller, it's like my bites, choom, shot up. And part of it is matching the bait, the size, and all that. But this is a square, one, kind of like the freeloader, different than the wings, and it rocks good. One thing once again, Ray Japan does here is it comes in a clamshell plastic packaging. So at least when you're spending $15 on some baits, they're not going to get messed up. Or you can spend $3 on some baby Z2s, and they are going to get messed up. They got different sizes. They also have what's called the super fish roller. And put that right back there so you don't see them anymore. Those catch fish. Okay, the super fish rollers are a bigger one. Goes up to 6.5 inches there. They're hard to get as well. These catch fish. I was going to say, catches fish. Next one that catches fish is the drift fry. Okay, the Jackal drift fry. Like if I had to pick 4 packages or companies, this might not make the 4, but if they're not eating those 4, then this might be the next one. The drift fries you see is opposite of that strobe shaker by 6 Cents, as the strobe shaker's up and this one's down. But man, it rocks. It rocks. There are days where they want to eat this thing. My thing with the drift fry is, it's been interesting. So there have been days on my lakes, and I have a lake that they love the freeloader. You guys fish with me, you know what lake I'm probably talking. But there's been some days this last fall to winter where they didn't want the freeloader on this lake, and I put this dude on, and it was like thump, 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 and it just happened. And next thing you know, I only had like 1 or 2 packages. I'm trying to share, and then I'm over like, oh hey, we don't got no more. And then they quit biting. They come in different sizes. They have a bigger one. I think they call it the melon. I have some of those inside. I hadn't put all those in the boat, but some of those are inside. My son plays with them at times. Yeah, my son, he plays with baits. Oh, hey, ooh. I haven't talked about this guy on the custom, the mooch minnow. Okay, guys, the mooch minnow. It catches them. Dustin Cannell and Wheeler have proven that. At first, I wasn't a big fan. I was not a big fan of the mooch minnow. And I don't know why. It was weird, and it seemed like I would catch more fish with the baby Z2 over this. Now, the thing about this is it has the extra appendages. You can cut them off. You can do whatever. But it was weird. And it is Lastec, or they call it Super TPE. It's a different material. It stretches. And I remember the first time I got them to bite this really good on one of my lakes in the winter, I went through a whole package in like 2 hours. And I was like, man, this is not really a Lastec. But that was just a one-time deal. Okay, guys, let me tell you about the mooch minnow, though. So this winter, it was for me. But then in May, it went down with the mooch minnow. they ate it. I want to say one of my lakes, they ate it. I throw a baby Z2 and they wouldn't. I put this on, they ate it. Now, was it a minnow deal and I just got lucky? I don't know. But I'm a fan of this guy. It catches fish. There are times where, you might have to match the hatch with it. It gives a different action with that little appendages, and that's what I really, really like. It's a pretty unique thought. I've thrown these a little bit, but this has been more for my people in my boat. And I kind of forget I have them. I got like 4 or 5 of these in the back of my boat. But this is the Bass Pro Rockin' Shad. It's their version of a wing fluke style minnow. You got your wings, they're a little bit more in depth than the Sakamata shad, because everybody's copying them with it that I know of, unless there's someone before. And it's more durable, as in, like, don't float down as much. And I'm not just real, like, sold on them. But then again, homeboy supposedly wanted Conroe with him. And he's a really good fisherman. I don't know. I just went blank on that guy's name. But he wanted Conroe with him. Next one, Spunk Shad. Now, this is the Missile Baits. They partner with Hog Farmer. The Spunk Shad I like on the tush, core tackle tush. Some people will throw on a jig head. I've just not been a fan of it on the jig head. I think it's more, and when I talk about the tush, I'm fishing it more like a hair jig, reeling and killing it, reeling and killing it. And it seems like for me they just do better on it. Now, I got some smaller ones in here too that I've tried, but and then here I forgot about this one. Then you got the Stro Shad. You got the Stro Shad, which it's another kind of straight minnow. There's no wings, and this is kind of similar. I got another one over here I totally forgot about. Let's see. Another one I totally forgot about. And, like, it's no wings, and it's not, like, squared. And just to me, like, I've not done as well with these. Like, I'd rather just throw a freeloader, okay, that's more rectangular, has some of the, has some little ripples in there to get kind of maybe a vibration. There might be my head. But then, like, here, you got the Motivated Baits. What do they call this one again? I forgot what they call this one. Motivated Baits one. And they're kind of similar, okay, except this one has the longer tail with that. And the Stro Shad I've caught more fish with on, like, the Shimmy Rig by Core Tackle or the Tush. I've caught some with this on the Tush, and that just goes for me on the water, giving y'all guys the experience and sharing with you as I'm making this video. Now, if I had to pick, let's go. If you had to pick, like, a couple minnows to take, Jimmy, on a trip, out of all these, and it could be time of year, but the freeloader is going to be one of them. Okay, freeloader is going to be one. Let me look it up. So just the Crush City freeloaders. Of course, the Sakamata shad's in there, but we're not even going to put it in there. It's gone. You can't get them. Tariffs, whatever. They're hard to get. Everybody knows about that one. Freeloader, okay, is going to be one. And let's see what else we got. We got so many. Probably a drift fry, the wing fluke, and then I like this guy. So they're different. So the hover tricks, wing fluke, freeloader, drift fry. And that is because they're all a little different. Drift fry is more of your circular shape, but it has that bill, different, okay? Freeloader is that rectangular shape, square, okay? And it just catches them, okay? Jacob Wheeler and Cannell's made that a fact, all right? And then I've had success with it. It's not just them, I've had success. Wing fluke, so you have your fluke, but you have your wings. So as you can tell, they're all different. Okay, if I had to pick 4 right now, all different. And then this guy, it's the skinnier one. Okay, it's still straight tail, but it's different than these. So if I had to pick 4, that's my 4. Now, guys, appreciate you. Let's go get into the Faith Juice. Okay, guys, welcome to the Faith Juice part of the episode where I share scripture, motivation piece, something that's on my heart, and I do a variety. And this one, I know I've talked about songs before. Okay. And I talk about songs just kind of let y'all know like how it's impacted me, or just like a song that I think I might need to go check out. And so I'm going to talk about a song that when I was younger, that man just hit hard, and it still does today. And I had a kind of a revisit with the song, I guess. So we were this weekend in here in Saline County, Arkansas, was a festival called Amplify. It's a free event, has a bunch of Christian singers that come to it. It's free, and it's been going for 12 years. Very popular. Well, this year they had Lecrae, okay? And I didn't get to go to all of it just because I had the kiddos and everything, like to all the songs, but like all the people singing. They've had Jeremy Cramp, Crowder, Switchfoot. I mean, over the years they have a lot of people. Okay. Well, Lecrae was one of the guys for Saturday evening. And we're there. I got to hear Lecrae, and Lecrae is a rapper. Okay, and me growing up, Lecrae was just starting. And so and then he got big, and I got to remember listening to some of it. Well, he had an album in 2012 called Gravity, and that album's awesome. I think it's one of his probably top albums still. And it's crazy we're in 2025 and I'm talking about an album from 2012. But this album was good. And so he had songs that played from it as he was there, and it's just kind of bringing back memories, And I hadn't listened to Lecrae guys in like 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. But there's one song on this album called No Regrets, okay? And it's and he wrote it. It's one of his like songs he wrote about no regrets of following Christ. And it is written so good. And a lot of his music is from different viewpoints. Lecrae grew up in a rough background, like I said, and he's a rapper. And when you think of rappers, you think of music that's just, man, depending on who you are, it's just sometimes it doesn't relate to me, y'all, but it's just not really good music, okay? It's how some people view it. But there are people that relate to that music, and so they listen. So you have Lecrae here that's rapping, and he's using how he relates to different people. And man, this song here, it hits. And so went back, started listening. Like after we heard it, I started listening, looking through it. And so I just want to share that with you guys. If you want to go here, and this is a song to where you can understand the lyrics. Some people are like, oh, I don't like rapping because I can't understand them. You can understand this one. There are some songs you can't. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. So but this one you can. So if you want to go hear a good song, some lyrics, and just kind of want to remind you of your faith, and that's what it did with me. Now I should have shared this at the beginning. This song kind of reminded me in that stage of life when I was 21, 22, of not having regrets, of standing up, not having regrets, of living faith out, because I was going through a lot of that time during my life for a young kid, a young 21-year-old. I say kid now, but at the time you don't think you're a kid, but you are. So, and that song always hit, and it was just always that reminder, that motivation that, hey, keep going, keep pushing, don't have any regrets. And now that I look back, I'm like, wow. So anyway, guys, check it out. Okay, hopefully someone listens to songs and it hits you, or you're like, oh, hey, or maybe none of y'all will.